the millennials and Gen Z some slack because this isn't ordinary. They are moving the goalposts so quickly on the middle class because of the housing. Even that slide you just brought up, someone making $77,000 cannot qualify for a $400,000 home. That's the first time that's ever happened in the past 50 years.
This is the one thing I really don't miss about living in a city. I really don't miss the cost of living. During the pandemic, I decided to downsize and move to a smaller city. Paying attention to the stock market, I knew that there was a market correction that we were supposed to have. Even before the pandemic, it was on the way. And then the pandemic hit and we started printing money. One thing is, when you start printing money, inflation is coming. It doesn't matter if you're a 1%er or if you're in the middle class, you're gonna feel the effects of inflation. I was watching a video the other day and I hadn't thought about it from this perspective, but it was somebody around 19, 20 years old who was trying to get their first apartment. And they were talking about how the rent was $1,600, $1,700.
I think it depends on the age, because I think we're kind of living in two separate economies, if you will. Because if you're somebody who's over 60 years old, if you have a $400,000 home and you have just property taxes and homeowner insurance for $600 a month, that is significantly better than a millennial or Gen Z are spending $2,500 for rent or $3,600 for a mortgage. So I think people under 40 are really feeling the stress about the economy, saying it's not good because housing's up, college is up, daycare is through the roof. But I think people over 60 who sit back and go, my 401k is looking good, my house went up 40%, the economy's doing well, groceries are high, but we can deal. So I think it just depends on the age, because the millennials and Gen Zs are the ones really struggling.
At that age, there's no way that you're going to be able to afford that type of rent, along with lights, along with whatever else you have to pay, car payment, car insurance, groceries. I don't know how many people have been keeping up, but the Fed said that this year we were going to have some rate cuts where they lowered interest rates.
Three really big things happened. So the first one is the Federal Reserve FOMC meeting. Okay, so at this meeting, they decided to not cut interest rates. That was expected. We already covered that in our previous video. The second big thing from this meeting is that they changed their projection. They got it wrong again, no surprise. They were expecting to cut interest rates 3 times this year. That was their projection, the official projection, and now they just changed it to 1 interest rate cut this year.
That simply means that the cost of living is gonna stay high for longer than we expected. I can't tell you what to do, but I can say that my decision has made me pretty comfortable through all of this. Right now, Americans are emptying out their accounts, they're running up their credit cards. At some point, a lot of that is not going to be possible for most people. People's cards are going to be maxed out. And when that happens, all of that discretionary spending is gone. And so businesses are going to feel the effects, and they're going to have to make a decision to lay people off. That starts a domino effect that we all feel.
$1 million, 1993, today is now $2,070,000. Inflation in 5 years will probably devalue half of everyone's money listening to this in their 401ks, IRAs, and their soft saving accounts. Like right now, the world is a wreck, and their only solution to the devaluation is they're gonna have to work harder. Over the last 20 years, 2002 to 2022, salaries have increased 27%, but the cost of a home has gone up 148%. In other words, like our cost of living and lifestyles is not keeping up. Average person drives a $60,000 a year car that has a $50,000 a year salary with over $100,000 of student debt, 60% of America living check to check. We have a problem. And being busy is not the solution, and getting another job is not the solution. You have to graduate and develop more of the Gen Z millennial mind that says there's got to be a smarter way. It can't be the immigrant way of just work harder, because there is something to say for hard work. But if it's not smart enough hard work, then it's stupid work.
There's no escaping it. If you're a younger person out there and you're trying to hold on to your first place, you've never had to let it go because you couldn't afford it and you just don't want to let it go, I completely understand why you feel that way. And I can tell you, I've been through that, and letting it go and downsizing when I was younger especially was the best decision I could have made. It's not pretty, it's not popular. People might look at you sideways, but it's a lot better than being homeless. If you make the hard decision before everything falls apart, you'll be able to weather the storm much better. It is what it is. I'm trying to see you win. Make the decision. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you on the next video.